I love testing clothes to see if they work on video because too often that gorgeous top that looks stunning in person fails miserably on video. And I don't mean just fails in terms of style either. The wrong wardrobe choice can sabotage your virtual presence, undermine your credibility, and steal focus away from you, your message, and your impact on your audience. Here's the problem: most clothes are designed for in person wear, but the camera has its own set of rules. It distorts, flattens, and condenses what your audience sees on their screens. Today, we're going to find out exactly which tops make the cut and which ones are quietly or not so quietly working against you. I call this the ultimate question for anyone who shows up on camera: does it zoom? I'm Julie Hansen, and I've spent years helping executives and professionals show up more powerfully on camera. And today I'm taking 10 tops and testing them by putting them on and showing you how they look in person and taking them straight to the camera to find out the truth. Because you know what? The camera doesn't lie. Whether you've never thought about this before or feel like you've got a good handle on what works virtually, I promise you at the end of this video, you're going to see your wardrobe very differently. Before we get into the looks, here's what you need to know. The camera doesn't see what you see. It flattens texture, it distorts color. Those patterns that look beautiful in person suddenly vibrate or overwhelm the screen. And your luxurious silk shirts become a light show on camera. And necklines, which you barely notice when you're in person, become the whole focal point of a Zoom call. Once you understand these four things: color, fabric, pattern, and silhouette, you'll be well on your way to making choices that enhance your virtual presence rather than sabotage it. So our first three looks teach us some fundamental rules about the importance of color and fabric. I love the deep cowl neck on this structured sleeveless top from Australian designer Dogstar. It has an interesting asymmetrical fit to it, which is very flattering and professional and fashionable. It's also a really beautiful deep red that is great even if you're not a red person. What about on camera? Well, this neckline really frames the face beautifully, and the camera loves that type of architectural detail in the top third of the frame. And that matte finish, perfect. No glare, no light show, just pure saturated color that really pops on screen. So does it zoom? Absolutely. This one brings both style and professionalism, whether you're in the office or remote. Our next piece is also a short sleeve look from designer Donna Cara, New York, and it's in a dreamy peach shade, which is perfect for spring. It's in a luxurious feeling polyester that drapes nicely on your body. And it's also got an interesting neckline with that tie that you can style a number of ways. What about on camera? Unfortunately, this is an example of what I call the glare scare. That luxurious feeling and satiny looking polyester just reflects all the light from your camera and your screen and your lighting, creating a distracting light show for your audience. Instead of seeing the beautiful draping or the details or the flow, they need sunglasses to even look at you. So this does not pass the Zoom test. You want to save this type of shirt for your in-person engagements. Does this mean you can't wear any silky or satiny shirts on camera? No, but you want to test those out on any camera before you get on a call. And also keep in mind that darker colors in silks or satins tend to reflect less. This drape top is one of my favorites for in-person, office, or social events. It's really comfortable. Plus, there's something very sophisticated and feminine about draping or wrapped tops. Maybe it's the way the fabric moves or how it naturally highlights your best features, but they tend to look very luxurious and expensive even when they're not. And on camera, a wrap top does not disappoint. It creates a gorgeous V neckline that elongates your neck and draws the attention upwards towards your face. And those soft folds don't disappear either. They catch shadows and light, and so it creates some movement and dimension. And notice what this top has in common with our red opener. It's also a matte, non-reflective fabric, so no shine, no glare. It lets you and your words do all the shining. So now that we've seen how fabrics affect the camera, let's take a look at another area that really trips people up, and that is patterns. I love this vest from Veronica Beard. This green and white weave is such a fresh look for spring, and it's sophisticated enough for professional events, and it's great fun for social events. However, when we spend more than half our time on video calls, we want to make sure that those designer pieces that we invest in do double duty. They work just as well on camera as they do in person. So let's take a look. Well, you can see how this green and white weave creates what we call a vibrating effect on camera. Tight weaves and patterns like this confuse the camera's sensor, resulting in a distracting optical buzz that your audience cannot ignore. The verdict? This one fails the zoom test. And it's a reminder to look for clothes that work both in person and on camera, especially before you shell out the big bucks. This blue and white striped signature tee from J. McLaughlin is absolutely a breath of fresh air. I love that nautical look to it, and it's just polished enough to work in business and social. Does it zoom is the question. Well, I love a good stripe. Unfortunately, stripes can go from fashion fun to fashion fun house in the blink of an eye. Especially when it's that vivid white and blue, the colors bounce off each other and just create a lot of distraction and chaos on screen. So, do you have to give up stripes entirely? Not necessarily. What you want to look for are stripes that don't include such a bright white, that are more close in their color range, or look for ones that have larger blocks of stripes in them. So again, we don't want to throw out our entire wardrobe. We want to find those things that are really distracting our audience and substitute them with things that draw the attention to us and our message and our connection with them. After 2 pattern fails, you may be thinking, gee, should I just give up on patterns altogether? Not so fast. This black silk print from designer Kobe Halperin is about to change your mind. The black backdrop is beautiful and sophisticated. The flowers are vivid. And in person, it's a statement piece that says, I mean business. What about on camera? Well, those vibrant blooms absolutely pop against that black background. And the scale is just right. They're large enough to be easily seen by your audience and not so tight that they make them dizzy. Add a strategic necklace to pull all the colors together and raise the focal point to your face, and we have a winner. So it's not that patterns are inherently bad on camera. It's just that the color, the contrast, and the backdrop often determine whether it works on camera or not. I have a full video guide on how to choose patterns that work well on camera, and I'll drop that link in the comments if you'd like to check that out. You know, a lot of the tops that you see on Zoom are just very boring because they don't have anything visually interesting about them, no design elements that pop. So what we're going to look at are 2 tops that use design elements, and you're going to see how that can either elevate your presence or undermine it if you're not careful. This first look is a crisp white print blouse with a stand-up collar and sleeves that say, I'm the main character. I felt like a flamenco dancer that wandered into a boardroom, which frankly, boardrooms could use more of. But does this stunner in person work on camera? This one is a hard no. Look, the design elements are all around the wrists with those oversized white cuffs. And you typically don't see much of someone's wrist during a virtual meeting. And if you do, it's like a photo bomb when they come into the frame. So it's going to steal all the attention away from you and your message, which is not what you want. So the design elements on this green jersey top are the floral appliques near the neck. This is a very sophisticated and polished look without looking stiff and formal. It looks feminine and yet professional. So what about on camera? Well, unlike the white flared cuffs we just saw, this design element is in the top third of the frame, which is right where your audience is looking. So it's perfectly positioned, and the size and scale are not dominating the screen. There's some light and shadow playing on those flowers. So you actually get some dimension and movement, which is really hard to achieve on camera. So here's what no one tells you about dressing for Zoom. Your neckline really runs the entire show. Think about it. It frames your face, it draws attention up if it's doing its job. It's like selecting just the right frame for a great photograph. So these next two looks are going to be an example of a neckline that backfires and one that does its job brilliantly. This light green sweater brings a little pizzazz with an asymmetrical peekaboo neckline and a jewelry-like metal detail. It's proportional and balanced in person, and I'd feel confident wearing it out socially or professionally. But what about on camera? Notice how the amount of exposed skin is actually magnified because you don't have the rest of the outfit to balance it out, and you're in the tight frame of the screen. This is an example of a fun trend that suddenly is a questionable choice when you're on camera. So this clearly does not zoom. You want to find something that you feel confident and comfortable in, whether you're in person or on camera, and you don't want to suddenly show up and realize you're a little more exposed than you had thought. Well, we started with a red, and we're going to end with one. This soft red top from OGL Move is fitted and comfortable, and it looks very sophisticated with that keyhole neck. What about on camera? I love a mandarin collar. It's like wearing a built-in necklace, and it nicely frames your face, and it hides certain neck issues if that matters to you. It's also a very professional level. Unlike our previous top, the amount of skin exposed is minimum, just enough to add a fashion detail, and it's high enough that you can feel confident and comfortable wearing it. So, does it zoom? Absolutely. Red done right, neckline done right, the perfect closer to our 10 looks. Okay, let's do a speed round. Here's where all 10 looks landed on the Does It Zoom test. So 5 out of 10 passed and 5 out of 10 failed. But now you know why. And that's the point, because this isn't about just starting completely over with a new wardrobe. It's about understanding what pieces work and what pieces are working against you. And here's an easy way to apply this yourself. Go to your closet and pull out your 3 most worn Zoom tops and run them through what you learned today in terms of fabric, color, pattern, and neckline. I promise you, you will see at least one of them very differently. I'm Julie Hanson, and if you want to continue on this virtual style journey, please hit subscribe. I test new tops all the time and share more tips on improving your virtual sense of style and fashion so that you can be the most impactful person that you are on video. And I'll see you next time.